Welcome to AFL Outsiders, brought to you by AFL FanZone.
Welcome to the AFL FanZone Game of the Week, which features the 2-0 Orlando Predators going over to Jacksonville to face the 1-1 Sharks at 7 p.m. Monday night on ESPN3 and newly on Univision. What to watch for in Monday night's game? Number one, it's a rematch of the first round of last year's American Conference playoffs. If you remember the game, Jacksonville beat Orlando 55-33 en route to the conference finals. That game, London Crawford, he came of age as he finished with 13 catches for 135 yards. But unfortunately on Monday night, Jacksonville will be without London Crawford as he was put on injured reserve this week. So that means more Joe Hills and Anthony Jones. Number two, this will be Jacksonville's home opener on Monday night as the first week they played in LA against the Kiss, and of course last week they went to Philadelphia and beat the Soul. Jacksonville opened up at home last year against Orlando as well, and they lost by a single point as they went down 55-54, and Jacksonville hasn't beat Orlando at home since 2013. Number three, Orlando won its first two games this year against the league's two worst teams. Week 1 they played Tampa Bay, and then week 2 they played Portland. You can make the argument that they should have lost to Portland last week, so this game would be a good test to see exactly who Orlando really is. Are they the team that destroyed Tampa Bay week 1? Are they the team that needed a late second interception to beat Portland? The stats that matter going into this game: number one, Randy Hibbard. Randy Hibbard leads the league in touchdown passes with 12 and is second in passing efficiency with 142.6 passer rating with 0 interceptions in the first 2 weeks. How is Jacksonville going to adjust? Their defense is 6th in the league so far this year. An opponent passing efficiency, giving up an average of 110.4 against LA and Philly. Number two, Tampa Bay and Portland find themselves in the bottom half of the league in passing offense. Those are the two teams that Orlando has played so far this year. Between the two of them, they average 209 yards per game in the air. Jacksonville enters this game number 1 in the league, throwing over 300 yards per game. Orlando sits at number 3 in pass defense, but how much of that was due to the first two teams being horrible throwing the ball, or is it really that Orlando is one of the best defenses in the league and they're the reason those two teams struggled the first 2 weeks? Number three, 4 players in this game placed in the top 10 in touchdowns scored, not counting quarterbacks. Joe Hills and Greg Carr both tied with 6 touchdowns apiece, which ranks 4th, and then Brandon Tompkins for Orlando has 5. Derek Ross rounds out the top 10 with 3 touchdowns. So expect to see a ton of touchdowns come Monday night. That's 2 of the best offenses in the league. What would it mean in the standings? A win by Orlando puts them at 3-0, and that would keep them as the sole leader of the American Conference, while putting Jacksonville at 1-2, and depending on how Philly plays on Sunday, they could be 2nd or 3rd going into week 3. If Jacksonville wins, they take over as the leader in the conference by way of the tiebreaker over Orlando with the win. Orlando would then be 2nd or 3rd in the American Conference depending upon how many points are scored by Philly, as the tiebreaker for the playoff seeding is points scored. Right now Orlando has 19 points more than Philly does. But the bottom line on Monday night, 2 things. One, Orlando needs to try and slow down Joe Hills. No one's been able to do it so far. That is the number 1 key. Slow down Joe Hills. Make Jacksonville go towards Tiger Jones or Derek Ross. Those guys. Don't let Joe Hills beat you. Second, on Jacksonville side, rattle Randy Hibbard. Week 1, Randy Hibbard had 66% completion rating, and they won going away against Tampa. Then week 2, he dropped it down to 50%, and look, they struggled against Portland. And you can even go back to the playoff game they played last year. Hibbard was up there in the best in the league history with 75% of his passes completed. In the playoff game that they lost against Jacksonville, Hibbard threw only 54%. So that'll tell you something. The team goes the way Randy Hibbard goes. With that being said, I think Jacksonville gets the job done. I think they rattle Hibbard. I think they put a ton of points on the board, and I don't think Orlando's going to be able to match it. I got Jacksonville in this one. I have them winning 59-51 in a closer game, but I still, like I said, I think Jacksonville pulls it out, and I think they take the lead in the American Conference. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoy all the games. Make sure you keep it here for all your AFL news, notes, and nuggets. Make sure you check out our Twitter page, Facebook, WordPress, all our social media sites. Take care, and I will see you next time.